Hi, welcome to LeatherUp.com. Today I'd like to talk to you about Arai helmets. In front of me I have an assortment of helmets, and I'll get into what the differences are between these helmets. We're going to start today with the Arai Corsair V, which is Arai's flagship helmet. That's their top-of-the-line helmet. This helmet is derived directly from racing, so this helmet has all the best features in it. It's the lightest weight helmet that they make, and it has a lot of airflow, a lot of ventilation in. These guys that are racing want to get a lot of air in. So I want to let you know that this helmet is going to be a little bit louder than some of the other helmets. So keep that in mind when you're shopping for a helmet. If quiet and peace and quiet inside the helmet is going to be something you're looking for, then the Corsair V might not be the helmet for you. If you're looking for something performance-based, light, is going to pull a lot of air in, definitely the Corsair V is something for you to take a look at. So let's give you a little bit of a background on Arai. Arai is a Japanese company. It is a very traditional Japanese company. There are only currently 8 technicians that hand lay all of the shells for the world market of Arai helmets. So you're thinking to yourself, man, those are some busy guys. Well, they definitely are. These are not machine made. They're not poured into a mold with a bag blown in. There's actually 28 different pieces to this shell, and somebody hand lays those into the mold, puts the resin, they're hand checked, they're hand done all the way through, even down to the graphics. These are hand installed graphics, so this is not a machine wrapping those. So when you're talking about quality, it is of the top quality helmets that are out there on the market. So let's tell you a little bit about it. It is a chopped fiberglass. It's not actually a piece of laid fiberglass. The fiberglass is chopped into small pieces and blown into a machine, which creates a random matrix inside there, almost like a bird's nest. It's a very tough matrix to try to tear apart. And in the event of an accident or impact, that helmet's going to do a lot as far as rigidity goes. So Arai's main concern is basically managing the energy that is caused in an accident. You have to look at a helmet as basically an airbag. This is a safety device. This definitely is, I mean, it is a fashion device as well because it's on your head, people are seeing it. But first and foremost, this unit is actually designed to save your life. And how does Arai do that? Well, they do that in 2 ways. They actually designed a very strong, rigid outer shell. And why they did that is because you want that shell to be able to glance across the ground in the event of an accident. So you're looking for deflection. You don't want to have big pieces coming off of the helmet. They're going to grab and those will actually rotate because your body in the event of an accident has velocity behind it. So if you have anything big hanging off of the helmet, that can actually grab the ground and turn, and you're going to have issues there. If you notice on the top of this helmet, there's 2 large vents, those diffuser vents. Those pull a lot of air in. The nice part about those diffuser vents is they are actually double-sided tape. They use a real high-quality tape. You shouldn't lose them by any means, but in the event of the accident, they'll actually tear away from the helmet and allow that to glance across the ground. So nothing obtrusive that's going to grab and twist and cause rotational force on your neck. The second way they deal with that energy is actually in the EPS liner, the foam that's inside the helmet. Arai uses a multi-stage foam. In the Corsair V, there are actually 5 different densities because you have different thicknesses and your head can take different impacts and different pressures in different ways. Obviously, the top part of your head is the softest part of your head, so Arai addresses that with the softest part of the liner. If you have a crash, it's been said that Arai is the most comfortable helmet to crash in because it is a very strong outer shell. They use a softer inner EPS liner to absorb that energy. That means you, the rider, don't feel that impact as much. It's a softer impact for you. You're going to be able to crush into that EPS liner. It will actually move and get out of the way and absorb the energy that's created in the event of the accident. So, comfort. Let's talk about it. Arai's actually interior is a very nice sweat-wicking interior, so it does pull the sweat out of you. It's almost like a Cool Max interior, so it gets that sweat off of your head, out into the liner, where the air that's coming in through the helmet now can absorb, evaporate that sweat, keeping you more comfortable on the road. You've got a lot of vents on this helmet. You've got a top center mount vent, which is just a toggle switch. It's very easy open, very easy close. With gloves on, you can just click it open, click it closed. You also have 2 large diffuser intake vents here. Same thing, click them open, click them closed. Something unique to Arai's helmets are the brow vent system. This brow vent system actually opens up a set of vents on the top of the shield, which then vent to the inside of the helmet here in the brow area, also pulling air into the helmet as well, keeping you way cooler. You've got a large chin vent here as well that you can open or close, so depending on the weather and how much air you want to get in. you can really shut this helmet down and not get a lot of air into it as well if it's colder outside or you need to keep yourself a little warmer. You've got a breath guard inside, which definitely helps for fogging on the windshield, so it's going to help keep that shield from fogging or getting moisture in there. And something very unique that Arai does also is on this chin curtain here. Colder weather, you have that air hitting you in the chest, you need to pull that chin curtain down, and with the Arai helmet, you can actually drop that chin curtain quite a ways down to keep that air from spooling up underneath the helmet. So, definitely a great helmet. Ventilation is there. Let's talk a little bit about what Arai does in the event of speed. Again, I said this helmet is derived from racing, so this is a performance-based helmet. If you notice back here on the back, there's a little wing. This wing actually controls where the air comes off depending on what speeds you're at. So at higher speeds, you can keep the wing lower because now what that's going to do, you've got velocity behind you. That's going to cause the spooling effect that would happen on the backside of a round object when air passes it to be out past the back of the helmet. If you're a little slower speeds, this thing ratchets up. So it clicks up, you can raise it up to the highest amount, which really gets that air out back behind the helmet. And what that's going to do is keep that spooling effect from coming back and lifting on the back of the helmet. If you've ever had a full face helmet on and it hasn't fit right or correctly, and you're at speed, you're going to get a push, which is going to make that helmet wander and kind of get a bobble effect over 100 miles an hour. Well, getting the air out away from the back of the helmet is really going to help this guy stay stable. These big diffusers also create a vacuum in the backside of this air vent. So what's happening now is you're putting cool air in, but you got to be able to extract the hot air. That's what these diffusers do here. These diffusers actually create a vacuum behind the helmet, which help pull that air out and away, and so you're constantly moving cool air through the helmet. It keeps you very comfortable. Something also that Arai started a few years back that is actually spread out through the industry is an emergency release cheek pad system. The cheek pads are the hardest part to get off of your head. When you put your helmet on, coming down over the top of your head, the cheek pads are going to be the tightest part. In the event of an accident, they're also the hardest part to get off of your head. So if you do have any neck injury, we want to keep from aggravating that. Inside this helmet, Arai has put these orange tabs. We're notifying paramedics that this does have a quick release cheek pad system. All they need to do while this helmet's on you is pull this orange tab, which allows that cheek pad to drop right out. So now this customer is still in his helmet. The EMT can now, without having to cut the helmet off, work this cheek pad out and get it off of your head and away, allowing the helmet to slide right off. Definitely a bonus. If you've ever been down, you know you don't want somebody pulling on your helmet first thing that goes on. The cheek pads also are using the EPS liner on the back side of the cheek pad. That same crushed foam is now in your cheek pad area. Arai has basically built these helmets for one purpose and one purpose only, to do what they need to do in the event of an accident and absorb that energy and keep you, the rider, as safe as possible. So they've gone to the lengths of actually using the back of the cheek pad as EPS liner as well. A lot of other companies will actually use plastic back there, attach the foam to that, and you're on your way and running. It feels very comfortable, but you have nothing that's going to absorb energy there. Also, if you notice on the inside of this cheek pad, there's some dark gray foam. This dark gray foam actually derived from the RXQ and the Signet Q and is a sound deadening foam. So it helps keep that sound that makes it into the helmet very quiet. Also, if you run a communication system, Velcro loves this stuff. So you can attach your speaker right there, pull the cover back over it, install everything. Your speaker's now behind the cover, so it's not getting sweat on it, it's not getting debris or dirty, and it stays nicely tucked back there, and yet you can hear everything that you would need to hear. Also, Arai, they're a very tunable helmet. So you can custom fit this helmet. Say you're a medium, but it just doesn't feel right in the cheeks, it's a little bit loose, a little bit tight. They come with a 5mm tearaway on the cheek pad. I do not recommend you tear that off until you've worn the helmet for at least a month. Let that thing really break in so that the foam is seated and knows where it's going to be, and if the helmet still feels too tight, you can peel that tearaway. That tearaway is a one-time peel. You peel it, it's gone, you can't put it back on. So make sure you've broken in the helmet, it's comfortable, it's not going to get any bigger before you tear that away, because you can't put it back on there. On the backs of each of the cheek pads and in the top liner, it tells you what millimeter of thickness this is. This one is actually a size small helmet, and they're running a 30mm cheek pad. You can adjust by 5mm on the cheek pad as well, so if you need to snug this up or loosen it up, you can. They do sell separate cheek pads that you can purchase. Makes it very easy to swap them out. So top liner and cheek pads, both tunable, and you have a tearaway so you can make the adjustment without making a purchase as well. Shield system. The shield system on the Arai helmet is one of the easiest ones out there. When the shield's closed, you have a lock. This actually latches down, keeps the shield from opening up at speed. You come in from behind it, click it up, it just comes up off of a little nub there, and as soon as your finger's behind it, you'll hear it pop, it lifts. So once you've lifted it up and you're ready to change the shield, there's two little fingers that stick out on both sides here. They come up when the shield comes up. These little levers are what activate the release mechanism. You just click them up, you're gonna hear them pop, the shield pulls right off. It's easy. Now you can add a tinted shield, you can go to a pin lock shield, you can clean this thing nicely without having it be on the helmet, and it reinstalls in seconds. You're gonna basically just reverse what you did, click it, close it. When you lift it back up, as long as those little fingers pop back up, you've done it correctly, everything's good. So keep that in mind. The shield system does sound like you're breaking things. You're not gonna break anything. The pods actually pop right off. If they do pop off, you can clip them back on. It's not that big of a deal. But when it's done correctly, that thing comes off very easily and it goes back on very easily. Very easy shield change mechanism. So as we're talking about the shields, let's point out a few things. You can purchase separate shields if you want something tinted, if you want something mirrored. We offer all of the mirrored. You have gold, chrome, purple, and maybe one other one, I think, silver mirror. And then you've got a clear replacement shield, you've got a light smoke shield, a dark smoke shield, and a pin lock shield. The pin lock shield is very good for you guys that are riding in cooler temperatures, or it's colder, or you're doing some time during the winter time. That pin lock shield actually has a recessed pocket on the back of the shield, and you can now attach a separate piece. If you buy a pin lock shield, you can put the amber yellow, you can put blue, you can put tinted. That just clips in here, and now you've got a dual pane shield. So it's gonna keep it from fogging in colder weather. People love that. It's definitely, in the colder weather, definitely a selling point. This helmet is available in a lot of different styles, a lot of different sizes, a lot of different graphics. Please check out our website at leatherup.com for the style and graphic that suits you. Thanks for watching, and have a great ride.